All right, welcome back. I saw this post on Instagram. I wanted to talk about it. Okay. Um, I'm gonna read and then we'll talk about it. Right? Okay. This was posted by Charlie Boy, 73 years old. Charlie Boy. I think he's 73 now. Charlie Boy. His name is Area Father on the. Charlie Boy is a legend, legendary Nigerian musician, activist, always in some kind of basketballs with the government, indirectly or directly. He was a big part of the whole October 2020, 2020, something like that. And SARS, right? But Charlie Boy, I grew up watching Charlie Boy on those bikes, and singing, He's also son of one of the major chief justice in Nigeria for a long time, But he himself is 73 years old now, So he posted this post. And let me show you Charlie Boy before we continue. So that I'm not just talking out of my here. Charlie Boy. Let's see. No. Let's go back. Charlie Boy. Charlie Boy is an interesting human being too. He has some eccentric things going on. I think he's also married to an American. Charlie Boy is married to an American, yes. Last time I checked, I think, That's Charlie Boy right there, if you're wondering who Charlie Boy is. Charlie Boy, he looks good for his age, He can still pass for a 55-year-old man or woman. I don't know which one. Any one of the two, I'm sure he doesn't mind being called any of the two. Charlie Boy is that guy that will tell you, I am non-binary. Deal with it. He's that kind of guy too. So, no biggies there, But I respect Charlie Boy a lot. When I pay attention to what he posts, it makes sense a lot of times, But this one, I discussed this one with my wife, and I wanted to see what you, ladies and gentlemen of Prestige, feel about it, So again, I'm going to read this post that he made, okay? And I want to hear your take on it, and then we'll talk. It says, who benefits from marriage? He's 73 years old. So he posted this picture of this man. He's 73 years old, pensioner, who had worked all his life to raise his kids, deprived himself of life pleasures to pay expensive school fees and living expenses for his kids, both at home and abroad. They are now well off across the world, but his wife, 65, has relocated to live with her kids abroad on the excuse of taking care of their grandchildren. He is alone back at home while his children call him to say hello and send money for his upkeep. He now has to start life all over as a bachelor. Baba is mixing swallow right there. That's awesome. Actually, that picture looks good to me. I don't know. But some people see life as half glass empty. Some people see life as half glass full. He now has to start life all over as a bachelor, not minding his state of health. See, when I see this picture, I'm not thinking health. But I'm sure some other people are thinking health, right? Especially now that Charlie Boy has spelled it out for us. Battling with high blood pressure and other old age ailments. Well, he's 73, right? But the question is, how long more would he survive alone? But this is the reality for most working class monogamous men. Did you get the point? Are you getting the point already? Did you get it?
You get it? If you don't get it, forget about it. All right.
No, let's continue. Right. Their old age is usually lonely and in many cases sad. Sad. Try as you may, women love their kids more than their husbands. Akimi's story don't they come up. No matter how good the man is, the older he gets, the less use they have for him. Right? She's 65, he's 73. They are less than 10 years age gap. That's not a big deal, by the way. Tell me then, what do men benefit from marriage? Men sacrifice so much but get little recognition for the hard work, rather than woman reaps all the benefits as the kids are often closer and more affectionate towards her when she becomes old. Men, a word is enough for the wise. Plan and take very good care of yourself while working and plan for your future. No matter how caring you are as a husband and father, 97% of these women love their children. You see number? They don't put number on top of arm. You get it? The number part?
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it. All right.
You get the number part? You get it? If you get it, put the word in the chat. 97% of these women love their children and abandon you when they are needed most. Thoughts. Let me get some of your thoughts. I'm coming to the chat right now. I want to hear your thoughts on this. That's the end of the story right there. Chinye is Chinye the only person here? You can chat or press 1 if you're listening quietly and you're doing other things around the house. Just hit 1 in the chat. Let me just know that you're here with me. Shout out to all 61 of you watching us live. Okay, shout out to you. I appreciate you. Achilolololo Ibu Onyara. Is that a song? Okay, that's a song. Yes, he is for years years and years. Okay, he looks awesome for his age. Yes, he does. Charly Boy said his prick know the rice again. Yeah, we covered that a while back. He said, which is reality, right? He probably has to take a little bit of help, enhancement here and there to help him get going, right? 8 years is a good age gap for a married couple. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. That's perfectly fine right there. Anything 10 years and under is fine with me, you know. Even a little bit above 10 is okay. It just depends on what part of life, what phase of life they are in too, right? Shout out to Donna Lee, shout out to Simi Sola, Kathy Williams, Gorex, all of them I did it, eh? Now wow. But I appreciate all of them. Thank you so much. Heroine Lekunrere, that's deep. That's a tough topic. Yes, what do you think? I like the message of men should take care of themselves. As a matter of fact, the next story I'm going to cover here speaks a lot to that. All right. Shout out to Fumi. I see you all. All right. I like that. But there was some things that he was saying in there that I think he was trying to tap into a certain type of audience. Okay. And I don't think they really care about taking care of themselves. I think this type of man, gentlemen, if you're listening to me, listen carefully. Okay, listen carefully. Listen with the head, not your emotions. Okay. There is the part where you have to take care of yourself. You should take care of yourself. But what does that look like in real life? Okay. There's a part where you have to take care of particularly your mental health. You, yes, I say to you all the time, you too, you deserve soft life. You too, as a man, you deserve soft life. You need to take it easy on yourself. The weight you're trying to carry, you cannot carry it not in that way. You're trying to use control. It's easier, it's a lot more easier, sweeter, better when you use influence, when you use seduction. When you leverage attraction and the way it works, it's a lot more easier that way. Okay? It's a lot more easier that way. Anything else, controlling tactics, manipulative tactics, you can't carry that weight. You're gonna hurt yourself. You don't need to do that. Okay? Not only does it not work long term, especially as we progress into the future of humanity, you're going to hurt yourself in that process because it won't work and you will keep pulling and pulling and pulling. And then the worst part is that you will tell yourself a lie that, you just do the right thing. No, you're talking about your weird ass idea of the right thing. Okay? Just like you have your rights to think something is right, other people have their rights.
Well, you're right.
So it's much more deeper, right? Than men should. I personally think men should continue to focus on their mental health and stop trying to carry a weight that they can't carry, right? If a person says they no longer want to be a part of your life, you need to let go. That's not necessarily equal to they will be gone, but you need to first of all let go. If you're not okay, those other people, wife, children, they're not going to be all right if you're not okay. You need to first of all be okay first. So I want to say that first before I go back into that and start analyzing that line for line, because again, Charly Boy was saying something else other than mental health for men, and I want to make sure I touch on that. Just like many of these men that are talking out here these days, they are saying something else. They will wrap it up in some kind of weird ass quote unquote truth. That's why I call them the truth tellers. And irony, it's a lie. It's all a lie. Okay.
Apa is lie. Sabi lie. Why the fuck you lying?
It's mostly lies. And we're going to uncover that truth, okay? But let me come to the chat really quickly before I continue with that. Let's see. I love how my parents do it. They love to be together for the most part if situation permits. We're going to talk about that too. Is he talking about the man or polygamy in disguise? You get it. You get what I'm... Yeah, it looks like some people get it. That's what we're about to unpack right now.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right. I was trying to tap into polygamy, which can also be his wala too. He's talking about the ones fantasizing about polygamy. Yeah, he was trying to tap into polygamy, yes. What him and his wife can do is for him to spend some time with his wife at his children's place in US and come home from time to time. That would be ideal, right? You know, but I also have my own parents to look at this situation, and I'm going to talk about that as well, you know. Like both of my parents stay with me, and my mom went to go assist my sister who is doing her residency in Chicago, and my dad went there to spend some time. He just came back home. You see how he painted that picture, but he didn't give this. See, this is a scenario he just gave, and this scenario sounds like a little bit of travel. They're having fun. They're older anyway, so which is a good thing. A lot of their joy is coming from watching their children. Also, part of the source of their joy is that somebody just had a baby, and they're also busy. They're doing residency, all these good things that's going on in life, right? But you can see that negativity, like somebody said earlier, travels faster through our brains, not just on social media. It travels through our brain faster. It picks our interest more so than, you know, half glass full type of scenarios, right? And we need to pay attention to that. Are there worst case scenario like that man? Yes. Like the story he told? Yes. Yes, there are. And I will talk to that as well. Actually, I don't need to talk to that. He already preached. He said, man, take care of yourself. I'm just not sure if that's the rest of the story. Usually, if the story is exactly the way he painted it, there's more to that story. There is more to that story. There's accountability lacking in that story somewhere that they usually leave out. It's just the whole world is the enemy. And you're left alone at 73. And yes, that's usually what's going on there, but there are situations like that. Let's see. Adjunct professor just resumed. Oh, sorry, I missed that part in your story. Let's see. It appears he's spreading a message here. Yes, there's a message he's making known, and we're going to talk about that message today. We got some time here. But some of these men, those have a good or cordial relationship with their wife when they were strong and bubbling. Some of these men don't. Did you mean don't? Don't have a good or cordial relation with their wife when they were strong and bubbling. So their wives resorted to stay over for omugbo. What's omugbo? Help me, Gorex. Help me. Help your brother. I beg. There will be a time when we would all reverse to being our selfish self in the near future, and all what we think are important become less important. That's life. So now I want to go back to this story actually, and then I want to dissect it line by line, because I think it's important for both men and women to soak some lessons here. Again, he's 73 years old, pensioner who had worked all his life to raise his kids, right? That's a good thing. Right? Deprived himself of life pleasures to pay expensive school fees and living expenses for his kids, both at home and abroad. Deprived himself? What does that mean? You see, I'm a man here right now, right? I pay bills. I take care of my household, right? If I didn't have children and a wife, that money would be going in my pockets, and I can just go to strip clubs, go to Miami, live lifestyle, maybe finance a nice little Lamborghini just to show off, because, right? That's my purpose, just showing off on Instagram, right? I could do that, right? Or I could say, you know what? I am Ola. I like family. That's just what I love. It's like my Lamborghini. Oh yes, my goes into it. It just so happened that these are my children, my legacy too, right? It just so happened it is, right? Which is a blessing. In fact, I consider it a blessing, right? Or I could stay right there and cap. Okay? I can just stay right in the middle of that conversation and start capping.
Stop the cap.
Like I didn't subscribe to the family life. And then because I've gone through a little bit of argument, or I'm in a funky place where I'm just having a hard time with accountability, and then I will use languages like deprived myself. See, it's the same issue. It's just the choice of language that we decide to use. So when you say deprive himself, I don't see somebody who had worked all his life, which work is a beautiful blessing. Work is a fucking blessing, okay? He worked all his life. He raised kids, another form of blessing. I'm not sure how we landed. There's missing story between that and deprived himself. I'm not saying it's a lie, okay? I'm not saying that Uncle Charly or wherever he got this story from, okay?
You doing what?
No, I'm not whining, I promise, okay? I'm not saying he's lying, okay? I think he's right.
Well, you're right.
But there's the disconnect. Hit that like button, I beg. Hit that like button. If you're... Yeah, we're missing about a few likes. Hit that like button. There's a disconnect between this part, right? Where it says, who is a 73-year-old pensioner who is mixing swallow. That swallow looks like I want to share with Baba, to be honest with you. Okay? I'm like, Daddy, Shimbo Jembe, Daddy, can I have some? Right? I bet it's a very nice what do you call it? Egusi or something on the side, ready? That looks like pando or something, right? I want to be a part of that, right? There's a disconnect between that reality I just painted and deprived himself of life pleasures. There's a disconnect, but let's continue. Maybe we'll get the connect. Deprived himself of life pleasures to pay expensive school fees. Oh, that sounds like a choice. For a lot of people, it's a choice, okay? Yeah, but schools in Nigeria, you have to send it to private school. If not, they will. But again, a choice. Okay? A choice. If you can't afford it, you can put them in public schools. You can also do some homeschooling. And yes, easier said than done. Okay? But the point I'm trying to drive home there is that it's a choice when you pay for expensive school fees. Okay? There are people that can't even afford school at all. They'll just say, okay, can't afford school. The child will stay at home until further notice. Okay, and living expenses for his kids both at home. Okay, they are now well off across the world, but his wife, 65, has relocated to live with her kids abroad. All right, so my story is not necessarily everybody's story. My mother would not have relocated. I don't care what, if you're raising golden children, or she doesn't care. Okay, I'm telling you the kind of mother I have right now, right? She will come a couple of weeks, maybe up to a month, right? If the husband, her husband, that man that was here that day, is in Nigeria, she's not leaving that man to come and take care of your golden children. It's just not happening, okay? And by the way, they did not have a perfect life either, but they have enough there that she knows that she's not leaving that man indefinitely. Relocation, that's what it sounds like. It's like an indefinite thing. She's not gonna do that, okay? So again, anecdotal, admittedly anecdotal, but that's what I know will happen, okay? Now there are some other examples that may not mind, and there are reasons why they won't mind. They said, Baba, I mean, he's been taken care of. Now the side chicks will take care of him. Let me just go and take care of my children. Oh, side chicks, right? The Baba can't even do side chicks anymore, but somehow the 30 years ago memory is fresh in our head. You see how I'm painting picture of what I don't know? Yes, that's how it feels on the other side. We can paint both best case and worst case scenario pictures. It just depends on your outlook on life, which is usually sourced from your personal experience, the weird things you're fantasizing about that's not reality, right? But there's nobody that had a good time in their earlier days that's connected to their husband that's indefinitely leaving to go and live with it. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Now, when I was growing up, I'll tell you what, when I was growing up, my grandmother might do that, but my grandmother is also one of many wives. Pay attention to that. So Baba didn't even mind, right? My grandmother was not the youngest wife either. So it's like, oh, well, yeah, take care, I'm all right. Okay, see ya later. Bye. I'll see you later. When are you coming back? He's still monitoring his wife. He still cares, but he's going to go monitor to take care of his grandchildren. He doesn't mind. He's not thinking that deprived. It's the thought process there is not deprivation of any type. But Uncle Charly or whoever wrote this is painting a picture of who is benefiting. The idea here is a competition. Remember, the original question is who benefits from marriage. The way that question is structured is a competition. If you have this kind of questions lingering in your mind and you're not yet married, the quality of your life will be better if you stay single. Why are you doing this to yourself? If you have questions that are structured to create competition between man and woman in your heart, and you are single, appreciate your singleness and be okay with that. The quality of your life will be much more better. It's a promise. Okay? It's a promise. Because I get it. In an ideal world, it's like there's nothing wrong. We can learn. We can learn so we can be better, so that women can take care of us better. No, emotions no be your mate. The emotional place that thing is coming from. If you enter marriage with that mindset, you will collect. It's a mindset thing. You're right about the question. It shouldn't be that, the question is a harmless question after all. What's the big deal, right? You're right about that, but that's not how the human emotions work. What you fear the most, you will attract. It's just the reality.
Continue.
Okay, let's keep going. So he's alone back at home. Now she's eloped, basically. They are now well off across the world, but his wife, 65, has relocated to live with her kids abroad on the excuse of taking care of their grandchildren. He's alone back at home. Alone, the word alone, right? Lonely at the top. Hey, while his children call him to say hello and send money for his upkeep. Okay, so they're sending money for his upkeep, which is a good thing. Okay, the deprivation thing, I'm not saying it's a lie. It's not a good thing. We both agree that's not a good thing. But we want to know, where's the disconnect? What happened? Where's the rest of the story? That he would be, because he's the one feeling deprived. that he deprived himself of life pleasures. I want to know why he started feeling that way, because most people that are in a good situation, they took care of their children. They were proud of taking care of their children. In fact, that's part of their sense of pride. That's a good thing, right? They don't think of it as deprived myself to take care of these children. Once you start thinking that way, it's an authentic feeling, but we want to know where that feeling is coming from. Where's the rest of the story, right? He now has to start life all over as a bachelor. He's not a bachelor, he's a retiree, a pensioner with children that he's extremely proud of, except the deprivation part, the feeling that he deprived himself, right? Right? Not minding his state of health. They didn't mind his state of health. These are the quote-unquote indirect accusations against the kids and the mother, right? These people could be guilty as charged. I just want to know where are the rest of the story. That's all I'm saying. Like, what happened? You can even say something as simple as they're just evil. I would take it in. Okay, I would take that in. But the rest of this here is excuses at this point. You can either say they're just evil like that. The children, including all the men in the children and the mother, they're just evil. If you say that they're evil, oh God, well, there's only one thing you do with evil people. You stay away from them. You're happy that they are away from you, right? And if it was in your power, you do things to get them away from you, or you get away from them. Not saying that you want to be around them, unless there's more to the story. Even if it's a perspective, the wrong perspective of the wife and the children, we want to know. We would like to know, because that's how we're actually going to learn the lesson to mitigate the risk of becoming lonely at the age of 73, because that's terrible, right? So he has to start all over as a bachelor, not minding his state of health, battling with high blood pressure, okay, and other old age ailments. Well, old age comes with ailments. It's because nothing lasts forever. All of us, nothing, literally nothing lasts forever, right? But the question is, how long more will he survive alone? Well, for as long as he survives. Nobody survives forever. Nobody survives forever. Is that a word? How did I say that? You don't get it? Did you get what I just said or no?
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
All right.
Forget about it. Let's just keep moving. But the question is, how long would he survive alone? But this is the reality of most. He said most working class monogamous men. This most here, monogamous. Those are major point of contention. This is where he's trying to get to with the story since the beginning. Okay, most. I would like to see some studies around that. I'm not saying Uncle Charlie is wrong or lying or anything like that. Listen.
You're right.
I would like to see some studies. Where did he get the most from? And I just it doesn't, even if it's just explanation from an elderly person, like, well, I've seen this, just some anecdotal experiences, whatever. But a lot of people have gone through this. I'm not questioning that, but a lot is not most. Okay, we're about 8 billion of us, okay? Men, I don't know, maybe 1 billion, maybe less. I don't know the numbers, right? But a lot is not most, right? Like about 300 men are a lot of men, okay? But they're not most men, right? So if we're really going to be pragmatic like that, let's adjust properly, right? Many cases sad. So he said monogamous men. Oh, so polygamy will fix this? If a man is feeling like he deprived himself because he paid for expensive schools, I have a feeling that polygamy will not fix that, because ingrates are ingrates. It still feels like I deprive myself, and you're not even talking. You can send to me or just look after me, make sure my health is good. Polygamy is not going to fix that. So there's a disconnect there as well. What do you mean by working class monogamous man? Is this because it's monogamy? What's the point? Oh, the point is that he should have married multiple women. Oh, well, it's never too late. Gentlemen, if you want to be a polygamist, You can be a polygamist. There's nothing wrong with that. You know that, right? Are you aware that there's nothing wrong with being a polygamist? The only thing that something is wrong with, there are three things that everything is wrong with: cheating, stealing, and lying. Okay? You cheating, meaning betrayal is involved, meaning they subscribe to something else, but you're doing something else. Okay? Including enrobe, including taking meat from the pot, right? That's cheating. And it's wrong. Lying, right? Saying what is not, right? Cheating, stealing, and lying. You take what doesn't belong to you. Those are the things they're wrong. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with polygamy as long as everybody that's coming on board are aware of what's going on. Sometimes you will flip a side chick to a second wife. That's okay too, as long as you're willing to deal with the hiccups in between. Because they didn't subscribe to that, but now you have to sell them on the idea, and they may choose to move forward. Like the Yul Edochie and Edochie, they might say they don't want to be a part of it. They might just cry a little bit and say, you know what, sure, I'll just take care of my kids. I'll keep my name, but don't come around me. Or they might say you can come around every now and then when they have kanji. But you have to deal with all the emotions. You can't just flip it on the internet and think it's the end of it like you will try to do, right? That's not going to work, right? And expecting a quick answer, even if you did, like, because we don't know if you actually spoke to May before they came on the internet. We don't know that, but either way, there's a process, and you have to be willing to go through the patience and the process for her to either decide to move forward or decide to participate in polygamy with you. But people are doing it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, the trauma that comes in polygamy is another conversation, because I'm telling you, collaborative effort between human beings will cause trauma regardless. Oh, well, will cause friction, not always trauma, but will cause friction. So if you have multiple heads and multiple ED and stuff like that, it's going to be, it's not beans, okay? People are going to collect woto. Okay, they will accuse themselves. It's going to be competition, it's rivalry, all kind of craziness will happen. I don't care how holy you are. I don't care if you live in Saudi Arabia. I don't care if you're all Muslim and you knew this before you started. Nonsense. Human beings no be your mates. As long as you are aware of that, it's not a crime. Well, bigamy is a crime. Okay, but in terms of if you don't do the state paperwork stuff, it's not wrong, right? So Baba can always still practice if he has enough money, and some low alleged tutu can come home and take care of him from time to time. It's fine. But I have a feeling that's not the issue here. You see how para just they explain back and forth, just explain, tire, no evidence. Did you see what I? Oh Lord.
We go explain because no evidence.
No evidence. Because that's not the issue. The issue is this part of the story that we're not privy to. That's the issue. That's my strong feeling about this. That part of the story that has to do with accountability. Yeah, that part. Yeah. Anyway, their old age is usually lonely and in many cases sad. Sad? How did we get here? Try as you may, women love their kids more than their husbands. It's not a competition between your children and your wife. Those are two different lanes, parallel. If you mix it together, now you just mix them together. It's just you explaining, mansplaining, shalaye.
We go explain because no evidence.
There's no link, especially if we're talking about your children. Okay, there's no link. I know we try on this social media street to link it together. Women love their children, mother, bro. If she did, there's something else there. There's a story there that you need to tell us, because you knew that this woman was going to have your children. And of course, there's going to be some situations. It might be postpartum, all kind of stuff, right? Is it not partum? What's the word, right? There's a lot of issues that people go through when they're having children. Raising little children will come with a cost. That's just life, gentlemen. You didn't know that? Anything that's worthwhile in life will come at a cost. Like, you have the choice. Don't have children, right? But some of us did, and we're happy we did. We're grateful we did. In fact, much earlier, we're grateful we did that. Some of us, maybe not all of us, right? But This at best, this story is generalization and oversimplification. Okay? Women love their kids more than their husbands, no matter how good the man is. That's cap. That's the cap. Okay? That part, I want to hear the rest of the story. If you don't tell me the rest, or at least come back and say that woman is evil.
Stop the cap.
Okay? There's more to what is going on there. No matter how good the man is, the older he gets, the less use they have of him. Tell me then, what do men benefit from marriage? Men sacrifice so much. Men do sacrifice so much. But the point of sacrifice is because there's reward. That shouldn't be a surprise, right? And men that sacrifice should be appreciated. Let me have that, just in case the ladies of Prestige are listening to me. Men that sacrifice, the honest truth is that between all of us, even men and women, okay, we don't take enough time to appreciate the sacrifices that we sacrifice, especially within family structure. Complacency, see finish, enter. We just start to assume that, isn't that your responsibility? We say that not necessarily in words. Some people do say it in words. Some people, their attitude says it all. So if that's what he's talking about, he's right about that. The sacrifice. I think there's more to the story still. Men sacrifice so much but get little recognition for the hard work. Rather, the woman reaps all the benefits as the kids are often closer and more affectionate towards her when she becomes old. He forgot to mention that Mother's Day is celebrated much more than Father's Day. Like if it was this Indomie generation man, they would have mentioned that part. He missed that part. Let me help them small. Men, a word is enough for the wise. This part I wholeheartedly agree with. The story that led on to this is a disconnect. They need to work on that story. That story no hard up. Tell us the rest of the story. But I agree that men, a word is enough for the wise. Plan and take very good care of yourself while working and plan for your future. Here's the thing. Also, don't be turning stories around and manipulating stories to fit a narrative. The truth is that you should always be taking care of yourself, right? When you buy stuff for the kids, buy stuff for the madam, take care of yourself too. Don't wait until you collect, which is not 73, by the way. Usually we're talking about between 45 and 60. Divorce. And then you're now mentioning all this, you're now wrapping all kind of story into nonsense, and you're not telling stories that are not complete. No accountability whatsoever, and you're trying to hold other people accountable. Some of us will call you out on the BS, so I'm just letting you know. So I agree, a word is enough for the wise. You need to take care of yourself starting now. Don't wait until tomorrow so that you don't come and be telling incomplete stories. No matter how caring you are as a husband and father, 97%, another terrible failed attempt to oversimplify and generalize. 97% of these women love their children and abandoned you when they are needed most. A man who has taken care of his kids, who is proud of his children and family, and is intact, he didn't do anything, usually would not tell this kind of made-up story. This is a made-up, crazy-ass story with no completion to it. And it's terrible. An Indomie generation, or I don't know where he got it from, he's probably empathizing with men. We need to work on the stories. The stories need to be complete. It needs to have accountability in it, whatever it is that we're doing. And it needs to show that men are still in a place where they understand that they need to take full responsibility for the outcome, even when it is truly sad. Okay? If you're still here, the rest of your life is ahead of you. If you're not able to hold yourself accountable and responsible, it's still going to get worse. You haven't seen the worst yet. I promise you. I guarantee it. You haven't seen the worst yet. Let me just read one comment here. I'm guessing this is the most popular comment. Somebody said, I disagree with this point of view, Uncle Charlie. While a lot of men invest in their children, a lot of them also neglect and abuse the physical, emotional, financial, sexual needs of their wives. Why is your wife running away from you at 65 and you're 73? She should still be wanting a little of some here and there, even if it's just rub on the head small. We're not going to talk about that part, right? She's running. There's got to be a reason, right? She's evil. Okay, if you say so. To them, caring for the children is enough. And because they do that, there is mostly a bad attitude meted out to the woman who birthed those kids. Maybe it is them feeling angry for the woman being the line where parental responsibilities were acquired by them and just the sheer exhaustion of responsibilities. The woman endures for the sake of their children. Those kids grow up with a pitiful disposition and vow to make their mother enjoy because they could see what she went through. Listen, this person is generalizing too, but what do you want me to say to this person when, if you are on the extreme other side, worst case scenario, they will flip to the other extreme? That's the way it works, because there's no true conversation except who benefits more from marriage. It was competition from the beginning of the conversation. That's why una they struggle. It's competition when you're supposed to be on the same team, right? The woman endures for the sake of their children. Those kids grow up with a pitiful disposition and vow to make their mother enjoy because they could see what she went through. In some cases, the woman is actually under G, the breadwinner. That part, right? And the kids also go out of their way to make sure she's extra cared for at old age. There is no man who was fair and sensitive to his woman's needs who is abandoned by her in old age. There are a lot of couples like this. If this ever happens, be kind enough to do an audit of how, audit is a good word, I like the word audit, of how you treated your wife in your youth. Women can be enduring and forgiving, but not necessarily forgetful. Dear men, be kind. But nice words there, you know. I would say that person generalized too. I would say, but the person did say do an audit. And that's enough. That's more than enough for me. The fact that somebody is enlightened enough to say, you know what, ask for more. Where's the rest of the story? The fact that a person is wise enough to say that, that's all that's really needed for the most part. Are there men that might have suffered like this? That's the part I disagree with that person's comment. There are, but they're still minority. Because it would be a war zone out here if it was majority. It's just not realistic to call it 97% most. No, stop the cap. Jesus Christ.
Stop the cap.
Let the poor breathe.
Let the poor breathe. Let me come back here. Okay, for Omugo, wife going to assist daughter with newborn. Okay, that's what that means. Okay. Thank you. Yep. So assistant is different from absolute just up and leave and japa. That's what they the picture they try to paint there. I do know that mothers will go and take care of children. And I do know that most men are happy that that's happening. It might be a nice breather. Most men that have no ulterior motives in painting stupid narratives would actually say, yeah, sure, but when are you planning to come back? Or they might even come and join you there, or they might say, okay, let me know. You know, I'm fine, I'm good. They're working, they're busy. Yes, even at 73. Who wants to be retired and not doing anything? Just grow up at 73. Nobody. Stop the cap. They might retire from their main career, but they're busy, right? Unless they want to buy too soon. That part, right? Men absolutely benefit from marriage just like women do if it's a good marriage. Why would I enter a marriage if I'm not benefiting? What kind of stupid question is that? And why would I enter a marriage when the other person is not benefiting? It's only simps that talk like this. I'm sure Uncle Charly copy and pasted from somewhere. I don't think he thinks like that. It's weird. What he said is very pregnant. Oh, lonyu. Exactly. That's true. That's the way I will say that in Yoruba. I didn't know you say it like that as well. The story is incomplete. Yes. I can understand that he's lonely. Lonely all the time. Best of us catch loneliness sometimes, okay. But then we'll buy a ticket or pick up the phone, a little FaceTime. That's a temporary feeling. Tomorrow morning, I got shit to do. Loneliness is not a crime. It's not a negative thing. Deprived yourself of a whole life is negative. Where's the rest of the story? What do you mean deprive yourself? Why did you do that? What was the emotional benefit for you doing that? Let's talk about that. I want to acknowledge that and then praise you for your sacrifice, and then we talk about how evil these people are. If you don't tell us that part, you're saying they're evil. Really? Let's talk about Willie. I can understand that he's lonely. However, I don't know how he gets along with his wife, or if he's being a coconut head of not wanting to travel to US with us. Some people do that too. See, there's a lot of in-between nuances that it could be, right? And it doesn't have to be he's guilty necessarily. It doesn't have to be that he's what's the word that comment used just now? That the last part of that person's comment, which is there is no man who was fair. No, fair is a terrible word when it comes to this. People will feel like it was unfair. The other person feel like it's unfair too, right? So there are men that absolutely feel like things were unfair. Okay, there are men like that, and for good reasons. Okay, so we can't say there is no in any form of absolutes there, but I get where they're coming from. That's the response to an already absolute commentary there. So let's see here. Coconut head of not wanting to travel to the US unless if he can no longer come here. Maybe he came out of the jail from here. Maybe he's Frida's husband or something. I don't know. Who knows? Sparkle says, is this a cry for help? Maybe. Maybe Charlie's trying to tell us something. Uncle Charlie might be trying to tell us something. Well, Uncle Charlie is married to an American, right? That's what I thought it was, right? So maybe Uncle Charlie is like, Americans, you go collect woto. They will leave you in your old age. Maybe he's trying to tell us something. Who knows? Maybe children are closer to their mothers because they are more affectionate. I was closer with my dad though, because he was more understanding than my mom. Yeah, and there's a lot of theories around that. Some people say girls are closer to their dad if they have good relationship. Some women have good relationship with their father, even though their father was the utmost cheater of all. But it's different. It's two different lanes. Relationship with children, it does interact somehow, some way, depending on the context. But it just depends. Kids are closer to whoever is more caring and understanding. Sometimes it's a personality thing. That's also a multi-level, multi-layered facet thing. It just depends. Not to Alpha, welcome. Good to see you.